fellow Geazlers, fellow STEMers. Thank you for your patience. So we are back with Dr. Anderson due to some technical difficulties. So, Dr. Anderson, I'm glad that you talk about formal STEM learning and informal STEM learning. So, oftentimes we talk about STEM education, it is always in the classroom setting. So, I'm glad that you mentioned the informal setting outside of the classroom. So, and that was going to be my next question for you, since you have mentioned it and you basically answered all of that. So therefore, there is no need at this point for me to ask such question. So now the question that I have, since you are the CEO of Smart STEM LLC, so you have experience on how a good program work. So what impact the effectiveness of a STEM education, of STEM education?
What is the impact?
Yes.
Whew. Okay, so I think what STEM does, or STEM programs, STEM education has the potential to do, I'll phrase it that way, is allow students to um, think critically about real world issues, and provide solutions to them, which we all know is what we do every day in our lives generally. So if we give kids the opportunity to become problem solvers, um, on a real world application, a real world example, and they can see the benefit of it. I think that'll help all of us in the long run, because like one of the things that we talk about as a parent, I'm a mother of two, and also as a teacher is, okay, these kids don't think, right? You've heard it before, if not have said it before. But when do we give them the opportunity to really do that? STEM, it's built in. A part of the engineering design process, if that's what you're using, a part of the scientific method, technology development, a mathematical problem, all gives you steps to problem solve. So I think that's what STEM does better than anything else. And that's or at least the truth according to me.
So that is really, that is so good. I think it is important to engage in these disciplines, regardless who you are, where you are, because I do know the countries or the nations that are involved in STEM, and you can see where they are compared down to the countries that did not partake early in the STEM fields.
Right.
So, running a program like yours can be challenging and can be difficult. So, what are some of the qualities that make up a successful STEM program?
Ooh, okay. So this is probably my favorite question so far. What makes a good STEM program? I think first you have to know why you're doing it. I okay, so this again is my beliefs. I subscribe them to no one else. I think sometimes we do STEM programs because we can get money for it, we can get these cool equipment to do it, um, but we don't necessarily sit down and say, hey, what are the learning objectives? What are the things that we want a student to be able to know, think, do after they have finished with this week-long, day-long, year-long, summer-long program? What are the takeaways? What are the big picture things that a student can learn from it? And I think that that's really important when you are developing programs. Is why are we doing it? Like, what do we want students to know? What do we want them to be able to do? What do we want them to think and do? So um, I think that that's the most important part of any STEM program is to know why we're doing it. I'm always think, know, think, do. If you can answer those three things about a program, a student will be able to think this, do this, or these things. Know, think, do. And know these concepts, right? If you can answer those three things, and then you can actually put dollar signs and activities next to those things. So that'll help you determine the value of your program, which I think is important also.
So that is so good. So, and I thank you for the detailed answer to such question. So, and I do know we are fairly early in the year 2020, and I do know you have many plans. So, some of the plans that you have include STEM. So, what are your plan? What are your STEM plans for
Okay.
this year 2020?
So right now, there is a lot of curriculum development work that I'm doing. And that's basically for professional development for teachers. So I have found that this is a particular need in my area, so I'm addressing that need. I'm also working on a couple of different programs with partners in the city. I've partnered with our local ecosystem here in Georgia to do a couple of events where we are exposing and enhancing STEM learning for students, for parents, and for teachers. One is happening in March and then further along in the year. I'm actually looking for funding for a summer camp for girls where we will introduce a whole mentoring piece to the fun STEM activities that we are planning. But I want girls to be exposed to as many other women who are working in STEM, who have a vested interest in STEM as possible. I want to surround them with these gems so that they know that they have support and that they aren't in this alone. So that's a lot, and so that's pretty much my 2020. Throw in a couple of some trainings in there, and that'll round out my 2020.
I wish you all the best in 2020. So, as a STEMmer, my hope is to make sure that every single one of our STEMers is successful. So, that is my wish to you in 2020. Continue to do the great work that you are doing in STEM.
Oh, thank you so much, and I so appreciate you taking the time to have this conversation with me today.
So that comes on to the end of our STEM talk with Dr. Anderson. Before I let Dr. Anderson go, is there anything that you would like to add and anything that you would like to say to our fellow STEMers, fellow Gizlers, those who are watching, those who are curious, those who may want to get um, involved or partake in STEM disciplines? Is there anything as to how you can encourage them or what they need to do? So you have the mic, so it is
Oh,
all
good.
yours, and you can say whatever you want.
Okay. Well, first off, I really want to encourage everyone to get involved. You don't have to be a STEMmer, meaning you don't have to be or have a STEM background to enjoy STEM activities. You just need to be curious and you just need to be willing to do the work. And I'll tell anyone that. So it doesn't matter if math is your favorite subject or your least favorite. You just need to be willing and want to do it. I think that that goes a long way. And for the rest of us, let's continue to do good work together, and stop working in silos, even amongst ourselves. We can do more together than we can apart. We can affect change for a larger number of students if we are actively working together and actively pursuing partnerships and grants and money and whoever else and whatever else if we are working together to do that. So I would encourage all of us to network, meet others who are out here doing the same thing, and figure out how you can partner together to do the work. That's all I have.
So we say great thanks to Dr. Anderson for all her work she's doing within the STEM fields and the STEM disciplines. So as she says, collaboration is very important. If you are doing something in your hometown or state, collaborations are always important. So on that, you can reach out to Dr. Anderson as she continues to uh, stimulate, promote STEM. And at the same time, if you are interested to be a guest on GSN, Geazle STEM Network, we're looking forward to hear from you. You can always reach us at editor@geazle.com. Once again, we thank you for your time, for watching. So long, we will see you, and happy Geazling.